remember you're better than everyone else.
Well, that's why I call myself Birch the Great.
Right.
That was the whole point of my old website, my Maddox clone website when I
I
was a
don't
kid.
I don't know if people can hear you right now. I think they can.
Me?
Yeah. They used to mute it, but now it seems like they don't.
How do I know when we're live?
Oh, you're on. Oh, you're on, dude.
Oh, thank you. I thought the actual intro would play or something in front of me.
Oh,
Well,
we don't have an intro.
Perfect. All right, we're starting off strong. Cringe of the week. Let's go. All right, everyone, welcome to Yo Remember the 90s. As you can see, your normal hosts aren't here today. There's no potato, no orange, no Tukey necessarily, but you do have plenty of Birch. And we've also got a few other characters we all love here. Our friends, El Horrible, and everyone's favorite addition to the Dabbleverse, Adam Bush.
Hi.
Hi. How you fellas doing today?
Fantastic. I didn't know you wanted the Yo Remember the 90s intro.
Well, I thought that's what we were doing since it's on the channel.
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
When you
I
said
didn't have direction. I'm sorry. Do you want me to play the intro? Do you want to start over?
no, it's fine. We can
Okay.
just we'll do it live.
Bloody ass.
There's your 90s background.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah,
Sorry.
there we go. No
That is
problem.
one.
That is one.
That is Saved by the Bell, the college year.
No, that's the original. College years wasn't until 94. And that's the beautiful insights you get from me. All right, fellas. Since we got that out of the way. So today we're going to talk about some things I personally love. I've always been into the sort of background and the makings of things like TV, movies, productions. One of the things I loved as a kid was they used to make these behind the scenes or the making of movies. They used to come as like as an extra on VHSs when we were kids in the 90s, where you'd see like it was a promotional thing for the upcoming movie, but it like if you were to watch any of the Batman movies, Ninja Turtles and others, they'd always show sort of behind the scenes how kind of the sets look, the costuming, the animatronics, and different things like that. So I thought it'd be great to actually talk to two people who have been involved in actual filming and TV and commercials, movies, everything you could talk about. And that is why we have Adam here today and our friend El Horrible.
And I'm sure people want to know a little bit about you, Birch, how you ended up here.
Yeah, who the hell are
Mess with
you?
us.
Oh,
Handsome
God.
Chad Zumach on Adderall.
Yes.
El Horrible protege.
Yes, I am just a fan who was also the lone fan to show up to the Be Dabbler Fest, Des Moines, Iowa, back in 23. I was the one lone fan who showed up.
So let me explain. I drove the first time I was on WATP Live in Detroit. I decided to drive because I was like, oh, I'm in Colorado. Detroit's not that far away. Well, it is. And on the way, I stopped in Iowa where Birch the Great lives. And I also met another, actually, there was a second attendee to
Yes.
El Horrible Fest. And that was my buddy Corey, who I also met on the way there. But you were the first, and you were very nice. I was amazed how handsome you were and how much you look like Chad if he, took care of himself. And so I remember calling you handsome Chad Zumach the whole week, the whole night.
Yes.
But yes, you're wonderful, and I'm happy to be here and glad to be doing this with you.
I've also been on a few random Dabbleverse episodes. I've been on a couple of the You'll Remember the 90s episodes from like a year or two ago. A couple of subreddit surfings, and I've hung out with Annie a bunch.
You're very famous.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm sorry, I'm getting sick, by the way.
Oh, yes, I completely understand.
Your credentials check out.
Yeah. Also, the one and only event that I've been to is the Detroit from 24, and actually going out there and meeting all you guys is also what kind of inspired me to get more involved with the Dalaverse, just because actually meeting you guys in person, you're all great.
Yes, it's life-changing.
Well, not exactly. Sure. Sorry.
I believe I have healing powers, and my touch is what healed Pulper. I don't know if people know. I forgot to announce this yesterday. Pulper is actually doing better.
What?
He's started talking in our chat again, and Win by 2 is already planning Pulper Fest 3. So,
Is that fishing trip?
no, that's Dave Sarah's birthday. But
Okay.
they did talk about going to a campground. I'm not even kidding. He's going to make the same mistake a third time. It's insane. But yeah, somehow Pulper got like a boost of life energy, and he's doing better.
Do I get my donation money back if he's doing better?
No refunds.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, good for him. Well, maybe they'll invite you for another round of blackjack or poker, whatever it is you play, Boner.
Yeah, or maybe it's just that the light burns brightest right before.
Yes,
It
that's
burns
what
out.
that's what I'm
Well-
worried about.
Last throw of good
I've heard-
energy before.
I've heard of this.
It's a thing.
It's scary.
It is.
It's real.
Oh yeah. No, actually what I thought was amazing too, and one of the things I thought would be interesting in the Dalaverse is the fact that when I actually met a lot of you and got to know some of you a bit, I know I'm sound like I'm trying to kiss everyone's ass here, but you
just sound retarded.
Thank you. You're actually all talented in your own ways. You guys actually all have backgrounds. You're not just you're slightly more than just a bunch of jackasses in front of a camera. In front of a web camera, I'll put it that way.
Thank you.
You've all got background. Well, Carl always talks about his background in marketing, but obviously he did
Is he in
stuff
marketing? He was in marketing?
He was.
Wow.
I don't know if you've ever heard him mention it before.
I thought he was an abortionist.
That's his hobby, right? That's his true love.
Yeah, he takes care of like trees and stuff.
Oh, right.
No, that's aborist. That's he's an abortion guy.
Oh, disgusting. Oh, I can't be friends with Carl anymore.
He loves what he loves.
Oh, I thought he was into something completely different.
No, we're trying to
No.
accept him and just.
I don't think he's allowed in Iowa. But no, so just yeah, I just thought that was all great, and meeting you guys just made me an even bigger fan. It's amazing that when you actually have a fan meet and greet and you're not an asshole to them, they tend to reciprocate even more towards you guys, as opposed to some of the guys like John who have been to things.
Thank you.
I'm endlessly disappointing. Don't worry.
Oh,
Person
I got
and on camera. Kind of my thing.
no, that's because everyone's always mad at you for a particular scene.
Do you know I've appeared on Hey Yo? Do you remember the '90s before? This is my second appearance.
Really?
Yep,
I don't even remember that. That's
I know.
wonderful.
I know.
I don't remember anything we did on this channel.
You guys played a beeper commercial from the '90s.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Yeah, no, Adam's done way cooler things than I've ever done. I worked on like a bunch of New York City commercials and a lot of industrial training projects and stuff like that. But I mean, I'll try to add anything I can to the discussion. But Adam definitely has the experience.
I've just been doing it longer, not more
Yeah.
interesting. What were the commercials for the New York City?
What did we do? I did Dunkin' Donuts, Gatorade. There was like Dick's Sporting Goods.
Do you
Whole
remember the
bunch-
Dunkin' Donuts commercial? Like, do you remember which one it was or what the bit was?
I don't honestly. I just remember I was part of a bunch of PAs who had to pick through coffee beans to find perfect coffee beans for the shot, because I guess they were doing They did a shot where they like were dropping all these coffee beans, like, you know, and getting a slow motion of that and stuff. But yeah, we were literally sifting through coffee beans and trying to find like what's a perfect coffee bean. But I don't know. I got paid $200 for the day, and I was happy. So, but yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I guess we'll get started on a few things. Adam, I'm sure you've answered this question 1,000 times. When you started acting when you were quite young, in the 90s, obviously, and you've mentioned before that you've gone to a few acting schools. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And obviously, your first role that anyone has been able to find was the assassin movie. You played Manolo.
Leo and the Professional.
Right, Leon the Professional. Okay,
Mhm.
sorry. I've never actually seen that movie. I apologize, but
I'm barely in it.
Even I've seen that movie.
yeah, the one movie that you've seen.
Well,
You
I don't think
seen-
I've seen the whole thing, but I know it used to be on like Cinemax or Showtime a lot when I used to steal cable.
Yeah. Oh, stealing cable. I know all about that. But the no. So between there and then you've got your start in Nickelodeon, and you were on Shelby Woo, where you got to work with that guy, Alan Goodman, I believe was his name.
Yeah.
And I looked up a little bit about him, and he was sort of like I want to say? I can't pronounce words. It's a guy who started a lot of the trends for cable TV back then, everything from MTV and sort of revitalizing the look of Nickelodeon in the late 90s, or excuse me, late 80s, early 90s. And
he created a lot of those Nickelodeon shows, and he's one of the people responsible for creating MTV.
yes. And like, if I'm remembering correctly, he did Clarissa Explains It All, Hey Dude, obviously Shelby Woo, and others.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is when you're a kid watching TV back then, and you see how Nickelodeon sort of produced and advertised everything. And what I wanted to ask you about is they always made it look like not just that you guys were on a set doing a show, but that you were just all kind of like this group of kids, depending on however many shows were going on at the time. And if you were to, they always advertise their Universal Studio tours and everything. Like if you were just to go down there, that you guys would just run into Adam or the Pete and Pete guys or any, all that cast or any of them. Like you're all just walking around, like it's a zoo or something.
To an extent, that was true. We shot at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, where the Nickelodeon studios were. So that's where we went to school and lived and shot the show. There was, as part of the Universal tour, you could take the Nickelodeon tour, and they would, like all the sound stages had big windows like prisons, but they were very, very high. And they would take them on the tour, and they could look down and see us. And I remember when we shot the pilot for that Shelby Woo show, it was called Shelby Wink because it didn't star an Asian woman yet. And we were all best friends. And it was that thing you were talking about where like we all just had crushes on each other and couldn't stop touching each other and wanted to hang out all the time. And I remember getting that note from the tour. The tour said that the kids on stage 19, they need to stop touching each other. It's making the crowds uncomfortable because we'd be giving people massages. Like we were like in our teens and given the keys to a theme park and told go. But then the pilot got picked up and they fired everyone. And they replaced everyone but me with all these different people that weren't my best friends and that were different. And it felt very like they took my friends away and replaced them with these people I don't know.
Oh, wow.
It took us a little longer to get that kind of vibe you were talking about. But all that was stage 20. That one you're talking about, that was like a kid's Saturday Night Live. And that was exactly what you were talking about. Like you would open the door and it was like Mad Magazine. It was like the Brad and hip hop and celebrities and like just music and a live studio audience. And we were like a mystery show for kids that was shot very slowly and methodically. And they were like a party. They were like nonstop fun. and my older brother was my guardian, and all the kids from that TV show, Head of the Class, if you remember that one, they were all the people that made all that. That's Brian Robbins and all the guest stars, and Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show used to direct those.
Okay.
And you know, that guy Dan Schneider was always around. He was always running in asking for.
He was the fat guy on that show,
He
right?
was the funny guy from the Comic Relief on.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I think that just hit me because I didn't watch that documentary about him.
You should.
Yeah, people tell me I just got Paramount Plus and realized how much shit there is on that. I don't watch anything. People have been telling me to watch the Casa Bonita documentary forever.
Oh,
which
yeah.
Yeah, I got to watch that now that I have Paramount Plus. But that's fascinating that they had a whole different cast and you were the only person that they kept from Shelby Woo.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even called Shelby Woo, it was called Shelby Wing. So.
Yeah. I want to know the meeting where somebody realized they had to change the name when they cast.
Well, that's funny. I guess since they auditioned a bunch of people to play the lead girl, and this Asian girl got it, and they were like, "Well, she's not a wink. We got to call her a woo."
Yep.
Did you ever get a chance to audition for all that, or do you know how the Oh, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
I wanted to be there. Like
Sure.
stage 19 was really boring, and stage 20 was a party. It turns out too much of a party. I didn't quite realize. So maybe I was lucky, but
you
it
missed
was
your
a lot of
chance to
fun.
be molested.
I mean, you only get one, right? You don't want to blow it.
Some people get a lot of chances.
Fingers crossed it comes back around.
But that's
Or maybe I can repay the favor. You know, now that I'm older, I can
Sure.
look to the younger generation.
Oh, stop it, Adam.
No.
That's interesting though about all that because I remember when all that first premiered and I thought it was the coolest idea. Like they were doing like basically trying to do like a Saturday Night Live but with kids kind of thing. But then wasn't there another show kind of like that? But it didn't really take off. Roundhouse.
Oh,
I remember that.
Didn't
That
they
was-
used to do skits or something?
Yes, they were more of a kind of a dance musical sort of thing. They
Danced and sang a lot, but I thought they did skits too.
Right, they did.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, it's just that was only on the first 2 or 3 years of Snick.
Yeah.
And so-
Snick.
Snick
Yeah,
always
that was
had
a little
weird.
before me, but I remember Roundhouse. It was like Kids Incorporated.
Yeah, it was. I just remember the theme song.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Down
Gotta
at
go.
the roundhouse where I could be myself. Down at the roundhouse, there ain't no expectations. Yeah, there certainly
Well,
were.
congrats on Paramount Plus. I hope things turn around for you.
Oh
Thank you.
God. So, with you working on Shelby Woo, Adam,
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that part about the pilot when I was looking everything up about it. That's amazing. So it's just literally one day you're having chemistry, you're making bonds. These guys, you're working on this pilot.
Oh, I was in love with her. I was in love with Jenna, who played Shelby. I ended up being the bad villain on Sabrina and the girl in the wheelchair in Wicked. But I was in love with her. They were like my best friends. Was the guy, I was in love. Like I thought this was my life forever. Like this is it now. And then they fired all of them.
Well, that kind of happened to you by fourth season, a little bit. When they changed cast and moved to Canada, and
Oh yeah. That happened too when we had to do a couple crossover episodes.
what I was going to say about that is how do you, because you were what, 16 at the time when you were doing that?
It started like 13, 14, and then
Okay.
yeah,
So
through
right in
18,
those years, you're kind of making friends with everybody. You're thinking this is great, and then I don't know, you go home for the weekend, you come back, and they're just like, "Hey, you're looking around. Where'd everybody go?" They're like, "Oh no, this is your new cast. These are your new friends." And
I went and had to audition them, so I had to like read with all the potential people and then the people that they had eventually picked. And I remember being heartbroken when they finally picked them because I'm like, this isn't my friends from before. I mean, eventually we grew to connect, but I was heartbroken. You know, I learned how this stuff works. I should have just been grateful I had a job and shut the fuck up.
well, there's always that.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you're suddenly, now that since you were the survivor on that, you're kind of like the senior kid on the set?
No, I never feel like that. And even when I should, I don't.
Okay, that's fair.
Sometimes it's necessary and I don't, but that's just
A question I had about I only have a couple of questions about Shelby Woo necessarily, but the one significant thing about it that I noticed compared to other Nickelodeon shows, it was actually shot single camera instead of multi-camera. And is that sort of like a first for that type of area?
Yeah, they
Or
weren't used to
Nickelodeon?
that. It's part of why it was such a slower, more like making a Law and Order episode than the party that was all that. Is because we were single camera, so everything had to be treated like a film, multi-camera. You got a bunch going at the same time, and they're moving around, so you can just kind of play the scene, and everything will capture it. And we have to get coverage, and we had to go do locations and exteriors. Which was awesome as a kid because it was just like everywhere in Disneyland. It was like, we're shooting in Gatorland, we're shooting in Pleasure Island, we're shooting in SeaWorld. And you get to just hang out there for the day, which was awesome. But they weren't used to those kind of like the crew leaving. We were also a non-union show on a union house, and I was a union actor. But the crew, they were hiring non-union, which you can't do. You can't have like a non-union show at Universal Studios. So halfway through like the third season, everyone went on strike. And I didn't quite understand what was going on, but that's what it was. The crew was striking to be union, which they should have been. And eventually that changeover happened, and then they moved it to Canada to avoid having to pay that.
Okay. That answer. Okay. I was going to ask about some of that.
None of it's about art. None of it's about anything creative or like somebody's vision. It's all about like, how do we pay them as little as possible for as long as possible while still graping them?
Oh, fantastic. A funny thing is, I was actually trying to collect clips or anything from that show. It is incredible. It's actually a lot more difficult to find than I thought it would be.
Great shows like The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, they make them more elusive and harder to find to raise interest and, kind of create a viral thing. That's why you can't find any of that stuff. It's because they're so proud of it that they've made it, not available.
Well, I was just amazed because, like El Hariba was saying, on Paramount Plus, they have, and on the Nickelodeon streaming, they have a lot of the old shows on there. That is one that is not there. The best you can find, it only had one DVD release, and it didn't even include the whole series, as far as I could tell. And the you can find some of them on YouTube, but that's only the first and second season. So it's just, unless you acquire it on the high seas, you don't. There's just, it's not out there.
Here's why I think, or why I'm guessing, because I've seen some of it. I posted it not too long ago. There's a Nickelodeon fan account called, I think, Splat Attack, that sent me this thing or put together a compilation. And when you go back and watch it, it's really cool because of Pat Morita and getting to watch him do his thing. But other than that, it was like on the cutting edge of technology, which does not hold up in any way. Like, she's using a computer and the internet to find things, and it's very pre-Commodore 64 and very like pop-ups, load, and like it. I don't think it holds up. I think it looks very, very dated due to how fast technology has moved now that no one would relate. The generation that sees a screen and goes to touch it with their hand, they don't know what she's doing with this Commodore 64 Atari thing.
I can get that. The other thing I kind of wanted to ask is, when I was going back and trying to watch some of that, I don't know what it was, or maybe it's just the stuff I could find. Whoever was running, it seemed like running the single cam wanted to just give you guys shaky cam. It's just, it didn't center on anyone. It was always kind of moving around. I don't know if that had anything to do.
It gets interesting. Like you were saying, it was the first time they were trying to do a single camera. So they brought in this guy, Fred Keller, who directed all of New York Undercover, which was a very gritty, real cop show starring Michael DiLorenzo, who went on to direct a great film called One Too Many, starring John Melendez. So when they brought in Fred Keller, he's like, we're doing what we do on New York Undercover. I've never worked for Nickelodeon. I don't know what they want. I'm shooting my shaky cam, New York style thing. And that's what he did. So if it looks aggressive, it's probably because it was new and then never repeated on Nickelodeon, because it's a lot when it's like brighter children's images than like a bodega in New York City. Well, but I did get to go watch them shoot New York Undercover because he invited me, and that means I got to meet Michael DiLorenzo, and somewhere I have a photo of us together that I can then use to find out what it was like to direct One Too Many starring John Melendez.
So you are linked to that as well.
I am.
It's
By
crazy.
proxy.
Right?
No, I guess the other thing I was going to ask about that is if maybe that was a difference between sort of the normal studio versus what you guys were working with the single cam, the 4-cam, single cam stuff. Did it have to? Maybe it's also the transfer, because some of the ones that you watch on YouTube, it looks like someone is recording a screen with their old VHS handheld.
Well, I bet
cam.
that's what you're seeing. Like, I have VHS copies of it somewhere. I bet you're seeing a burn from the VHS, and you're actually seeing the degradation of the film. And
Okay, so I guess my question I was going to ask is, where was the lighting? Like, it's just like everything is dark, or it's just kind of beige.
I think it's just the copy of the copy.
Okay.
I mean, it was very bright. Everything on Nickelodeon was very bright. Maybe they dimmed it too much, but they were certainly compensating to try and make this seem like something that wasn't Nickelodeon.
Okay, because that would make sense. All right, now I've got a small scene. It's very short, and so for our last little bit about Shelby Woo, just so you can kind of tell me about this one a bit. It's a particular.
I feel like this is this audience's worst nightmare. That they wake up one day and instead of OJ and Cardiff, it's me talking about this shit. Well, Tookie looks on over and just like,
I'm listening. I'm fascinated.
Oh, no. We're doing great though, Birch. You and I just feel bad. Like if I got up to see Blind Mike in the morning, and instead I was like, "Here's Dustin Diamond to talk about the college years." What the fuck happened? Wait, John has a political show now? What the fuck happened to Sunday morning? God damn it!
Oh, that would be all right. I'm gonna try this. We'll see if I don't mess it up.
Make me your pet. It's a thing you won't regret.
Here we have Adam as a frog.
No, this was a great idea. Show a green screen thing of me.
I thought he was Tukey. That's not Adam as
This will go
Tukey.
well.
No, it's just right here.
Yep.
What? So this
Uh-huh.
episode, I had to, because it was a season 3 episode. I had this fever dream I remembered from when I was a kid. I swear you were a frog, and I took forever to try to find it. I actually had to have someone help me find the 3rd season. And here it is. What was going on here? You are in you're on a stage of a musical in a show, and you're a frog. And I know you're in a pet store, and the whole song is about adopting pets, but do you have any sort of particular memories on this particular episode?
Yeah, I got one memory on this episode. That was we're trying to solve mysteries. We were like Scooby-Doo. That's what we did. So
Yeah.
we're trying to solve this thing, and we have to infiltrate this community theater to find out who committed the crime. I auditioned for the play to infiltrate the cast, and now I'm performing. And I only remember this because that guy Alan Goodman told me on one. He said there's a scene where the kids are talking about breaking the mystery, and the whole time I seemed very concerned that I had to get back to the play. And he's like, it wasn't written in there. You just did that because that's where your character would be involved in. They'd be like, yeah, we have to solve this mystery, but also I'm in the middle of this play. I got to go finish it. And he really liked seeing something that he hadn't written at all just come alive. Like that's one of those moments where the character exists on its own, and it's just they've written it. It's the 3rd or 4th season, and there's a life of its own. That's the kind of thing you hope for in a very small, minuscule way on Nickelodeon.
Was it one of your first singing roles? Is that something that you did already, and then kind of developed that into your eventual?
I don't remember singing on this, but I sang a lot as a kid, and still do. I always like that.
Oh no, you were a part of the whole number here.
Oh god,
kind of for a few seconds, but no, that was just the episode itself also showed you going through like an audition process for the play and other things like that, and it just kind of made me think, when you see that type of stuff on TV and movies where people are going through auditions, like we've all seen stuff like American Idol and things like that, is that close to reality, like for what you experienced trying to get roles? Or
in terms of like American Idol?
Well, not just like American Idol, but like the actual, like there's, they have a casting call. There is a line of people. It's you versus the other 100, potential Adams or Noahs in this case for the show. and you're all just sort of competing for this one spot.
That's an open call, where
Okay.
which is the first kind of audition I ever went to for a Broadway play called Conversations with My Father, written by Herb Gardner. It was like thousands of kids in a line that had never acted in anything, waiting to get an audition, and mine went well. I was like 11, and that's what made me want to keep doing that. The casting director said, you should go to an acting school like Strasberg. So I went to Lee Strasberg, signed up there. That's an open call. They get a little smaller. The best example of auditions is from a movie called I'll Do Anything that was directed by James L. Brooks and has the entire cast of The Simpsons in it, but it's a live action movie. It was a musical, and they took out all the songs because no one liked them. So you can tell in the thing when they're about to break into song, but they don't. And it's not a good movie, but its depiction, Nick Nolte plays this character actor who had like a scene in Apocalypse Now that people remember him for, where he doesn't speak. But he becomes, he has to take care of this young girl, and she becomes an actress. So you see him auditioning, and you see him taking her to auditions, and that, it's not a good movie. But those scenes about casting directors and about the business and about testing are exactly what it's like. It's exactly what it's like. It's really great, those scenes. And there was a TV show, it was on HBO for a very short time, and it was about actors living in LA, and it nailed that feeling. It really got it right. I'll find out the name for you. Every once in a while, you'll see something that depicts it, but it's a very, very strange experience, I think, in life, where whenever you're dealing with probably the most important or emotional thing in your life, like somebody died, or you're meeting a cop, or someone got murdered, you're always dealing with someone who does this every day, all day, and are over it. Like, that's the dynamic. You're in your most vulnerable moment, and this is all they do. And that's how we work as a society. All of our most important moments are met with people who really don't want to be there. And that's what an audition is like. And there's always that vibe, no matter what it is. Even when you've booked it and it's, Christopher Nolan, he's going to go, all right, great, moving on. And you won't know until you get home.
Okay, so even if it's like, do you ever have that feeling like that was great or that was just the worst?
You learn to pick up tricks. Like, if people are laughing and you don't know why, then you've booked it. If they're just laughing, where there's not necessarily a punchline, it means you are the character, and they're just really happy to see that. And if people are responding to just you being you, that's great. That goes well. That you can sense. But there's like a rule where if they say to you, that was amazing, we just need to get your wardrobe, and are you free these dates? Good. You're not going to get it. Like, if you get that sense, man, they were asking about you're not getting it. It's just how it goes. It's weird.
It's fantastic. So they make it seem like you got it, but you don't.
Fantastic. Yeah, if you ever get that vibe, if they're really effusive, then it's not going to happen.
That is great. Oh, that's fantastic. All right, great. So next clip I want to show, this is you've kind of finished up Shelby. You've kind of moved on to a different bit here, and it's about 30 seconds here.
In the door. That's impressive shooting. Was anybody else in here with them?
Right, these two guys, right there, they were at table 14, and they came running by with guns. I figured them for cops. Their friend was in the second stall, the one next to the wounded.
So, we gotta break it up. So you're about, 19 at this point? You've moved on from the Nickelodeon studio, child actor. Is this one of your first kind of like, what do you want to call it, adult roles?
I don't know. I never thought of it like that, but this was after Nickelodeon. I moved back to New York City, and this was that. Yeah, for sure. I went back to Strasbourg and just started doing a lot of procedurals.
Okay. When you're doing a scene like this, I guess a question I've always kind of wanted to ask is, I have a big background in wrestling, and so when you're working with different guys that you've seen on TV, they're legends to you. I mean, you're working on a big time show here. You've got two great, the next one that walks out is going to, kind of huge actors. Did you ever feel like you're marking out a little bit? Like you're just excited, like you're like, holy crap, I get to work with these guys.
Sometimes, yeah, it's usually not over, who you would expect, but there are definitely people that I get very excited to work with, or that I can't ever really relax around, or I just kind of want to follow around. Jerry Orbach, I was a big fan of here. because I liked all those
Yep.
Broadway musicals that he was a star in. But I can tell you what I remember from this day is that both of them, you see how they're looking down? It's because they have all their lines written on those little police pads where they're supposed to be taking notes.
Mhm.
They just have all their lines written there, and they read them while they're looking down, and then they look at you with these dead eyes that say nothing but like lunch is in 2 hours, and then we're done at 6. And they're just waiting for you to say your line because they only know the last word. And then once you say that last word, their eyes go right back down and they read their next line. It's a job, and they just don't want it to be interrupted. They want it to go well and move on. They don't care about the acting here. If there happens to be good acting, it's an accident. They care about the mystery, the clues, and that we don't know who the bad guy is. Just get that info out clearly and move on. I like that. I like when it's a job, when it's like a 9 to 5. We're here, we're professionals, we do our thing, we move on. It doesn't all have to be, reinventing the wheel.
No problem. Well, a big question I had about this is, so when I always felt like, got the impression a show like this, you've got your kind of main cast, but they have so many, just every episode are just lined with guest stars, extras, tons of people moving in and out of the stage. Does it run? How is it? I guess the big question I wanted to ask is the difference of being on an episode or a show like this versus something like Shelby Woo, because on there, you typically on like a sitcom or something like that have a very insular cast. There's guest stars, but it's mostly your main cast with a couple reoccurring, and they just all interact with one another. On a show like this, you've got people in and out every day, almost like a factory. And just how does, sort of the differences between the two?
The Shelby Woo was similar because they were trying to make it like one of these shows. They hired one of these directors. They were mirroring this. This is what they wanted it to be like for Nickelodeon. That was the concept. But yeah, you get really close with the main people, and it's always fun and exciting to see who comes in and comes around. And it's not that different. Multicam has a different shooting schedule that's much easier, and more like a 9 to 5. Anything on film or anything that's single cam is going to be like making a film in like 8 to 10 days.
Okay.
So it's there's a couple people that are the same, but everyone's different, and then they wrap and they go on and they move on. But it is like a film. Like, how are we going to get all this done?
All right. So especially on episodes of different sort of shows like this, do you have a lot of prep time, or is it literally like you're expected to get there, land this in, less than 2 takes, and then you're out?
It's always that. It's never there's time, especially in television. There is no time. And even in film, sometimes this casting stuff, especially if they're ending up with me, I mean, something didn't go well and we're very close to the end of this process and we need to make a choice. So like Paul Dano, when he did There Will Be Blood, they told him 2 days before they started shooting. He had to memorize, learn the script, read it, and do this role. 2 days. He met Daniel Day-Lewis 2 days later, and they were filming some of the biggest scenes in the film. And that is more common than anything else. There's also a rule, I don't know why it works out like this, but if there's anything you're dreading, if there's like a kiss or anything intimate or anything that like you hope would happen later on, it'll be the first thing you shoot. Like if you're a couple, the first thing you'll do is kiss. And it's never intentional. It's just always, that's how it works out. Whatever the one thing is that you would need chemistry for and hope that you can like hang out a little bit, that'll be what you do first for everything. There's a death scene that always ends up first. It's just about scheduling.
Okay.
It's about saving money, and that's, what everybody's thinking about every step of the way. Nothing has to do with when you're Paul Thomas Anderson, if you're Christopher Nolan, if you're, you can David Fincher, you can own the time, you can rehearse, you can work on what's important to you if you're David Lynch. But these shows, it's just like he wants to get back to his trailer with Julia Roberts. Jerry Orbach is half dead here, and everybody just wants the day to end.
Fantastic. I wanted to ask you about, especially because when I saw you had an appearance on Law and Order, there was an old, God, this is from, 15 years ago. It was an old TMZ story about, it was on SVU, but what's his name? I'm going to mispronounce it. Christopher Maloney. He played Stabler. Yeah. He had, I guess, a big blow up. And I remember watching a video of it, it literally is him just yelling at a guy about, why can't you effing hit your mark? Just hit your mark, say your line, and go. That's what you're here for. It's just, have you like when you talk about hitting your mark, is I've seen on something when I've kind of looked some stuff about it. Is there literally sometimes just like an X on the floor in masking
Every
tape?
time.
Like
Every time.
okay,
There's somebody whose job it is to follow the director around, and once the blocking has been set, they come right wherever you're standing, and they put marks there that are your color, so you can follow it like a dance step, and you have to hit it exactly. And here's the trick: you can hit it, but then if I hit right here, but I'm leaning like this, or I'm leaning forward or back, then I'm still not in the light. The light is very delicate, and you hitting it is more important than anything else.
so
I don't think yelling at somebody and berating them until they get it right is necessarily the fastest way to make that happen. But yeah, it's really crucial. Humphrey Bogart, remember that guy? You know, he's famous for saddling up to his co-star and then looking up in this kind of dramatic way, and he's just looking for his mark. So his head is down until he sees it, and then he looks up at you, and he made it a thing. But that's all it is.
Birch, can I just interject here? I know
Yes,
everyone's
sorry,
sick
buddy.
of hearing from me, but I just wanted to announce I'm monitoring the chat. Everyone's loving this. Everyone is really into this show, and you're
Thank God.
also beating Karmic X in live views. So just in case you needed a boost in your ego, there it is, buddy. Your first show, you're beating a live Karmic X, who I hear is on the verge of crying. So
Oh, good.
that's not an easy task, my friend.
he's been known to do that a few times.
All right, back
No,
to the
I
Adam
just-
Bush interview.
We could strategically give the people exactly what they don't want and still beat Karmic X. That feels good.
Yes, fantastic. No,
It's the tiny victories, you know.
I just in that little bit he kept he was yelling at the guy because he kept I couldn't find footage of it because it was just an a report about.
But it's good to know that Rocco's surfing the web and checking out what else is happening out there. That's good to know. Sorry.
Just monitoring things.
No,
I
no, no,
just
no,
want
no.
to give our boy a boost in his energy. I know he was nervous, but I haven't seen a single person write a bad thing about this.
Oh, thank God.
It's electric. The energy is off the wall, Birch. Keep doing what you're doing. Now
make sure-
back to the Adam Bush interview.
Take questions from the chat, please, at some point, because I think they'll just want to hear more about these topics and expand upon them. What's is John still doing the political show? Is he still talking to Brian, or has he moved on?
Stand by.
Thank you. You were saying, I'm sorry.
Oh God, I'm terrible.
No, you're doing great, actually.
No, it's just what I thought was interesting about that is just because I guess he turned around and yelled at the guy for the fact of when I turn around and I'm holding this, you need to be right here because then if you're not right here, I'm not talking to anybody. And I just didn't know if that was something that you've experienced on these types, because you've had quite a few guest starring or parts on tons of different episodes of television. I guess the basic answer is just you're a professional, so maybe you haven't run into that, but
You try and, I mean, that's one of those things like a musician, like staying in tune, showing up with your instrument ready to go, like knowing the chart. Those are the kind of expected things. It's a basic, hitting your mark, saying your line. That's, you know what I mean? That's pretty much it. You got to get this live stream on. We got to be able to hear you. Before we even talk about whether it's good or not, those things have to be in place, right? You get that, we're good to go. The actor has to be able to do that. But people will fuck with you. Like, I remember testing for a Dane Cook show with Dane Cook, and he really wanted his comedian friend to be the number two. He did not want the guy that Fox wanted to be his number two. So he would when we did the screen test, he would stand in front of me, block me so the people couldn't see me. He would ignore the blocking and just kind of basically shut me out, which is his way of communicating, don't look at this. Or sometimes you do a show and it's a couple people and you find that this person, they're just standing in front of you. They want to go for it. That's their thing, is to cover other people. So it's a delicate dance, but you gotta do exactly what they say or it's not going to land.
great. That answers that. Now, obviously, after your time doing a couple of bits like that, you ended up on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and which is that what you're most famous for necessarily? You'd say?
It's all different audiences. That's what
Okay, that makes sense.
this chat doesn't understand. It. There's they've just heard of Buffy, the Dabbleverse, so that's what they key into because that's the thing they know. There's
We're
kids
very
involved.
retarded. Yes.
And Yeah, not because they're interested in it. It's just the one thing they recognize. I've been doing this since I was 11, so I'm very used to people recognizing me from stupid shit or not knowing quite what it's from, and I'm not famous in any way, so it's not like you're that guy. It's just you look familiar, and I look different over the years. So
Okay, you've definitely had some different looks over the years.
yeah, so I'm not recognizable in that way, but I just have that familiar Jew face that makes you think you've gone to college with me or seen me in some kind of propaganda poster when studying World War II. But the point
true.
is, very much on point. But, you know, I don't have to deal with any of that kind of stuff. I like the character actor thing. Those are the people I admired growing up. I wish I'd aimed higher, but that's who I liked. So that's what I end up becoming. And there's a generation of kids like my daughter's age that know me from a show called My Music. That was
Right.
a YouTube show by the Fine Brothers. And there's people that only know me from Altered Carbon. There's people that only know me as a musician. There's people that know me from Nickelodeon.
Okay.
It's whatever their thing is. That's where they'll know me from. It's only when I die, like Rob Reiner, that people go, "Oh shit, he did what? He directed what? Oh, I didn't know that." You know, that's when that happens. That's
that
when
a
people
weird-
take an interest.
Is that a weird thing in acting? I guess in a sense
When
of
sons kill their parents, it's fucking weird. It's
Not-
and unexpected. Like not until you take a look at Nick Reiner and they're like, "Oh, well, it's maybe a little expected."
well, no, I was gonna say if someone just like didn't know you and like, yeah, I'm an actor.
don't.
And well, no, you'll say you're an actor, and then the first thing someone will say, like, I don't know your name. Well, what have you been in? Like you suddenly have to like qualify yourself of, I am, this is a profession that I do.
Well, here's what you're talking about that I think Rocco would relate to, and maybe anyone who does stuff like this would, is that you get approached by people in a very hostile manner when they are not involved in anything creative. And it's condescending, and it's intentionally that way, and it's played to be like, I don't know anything about what you do, but it's always, let me put it this way. The conversation goes like this. Oh, you do that? Oh, you ever been in anything? You list a couple things. I don't really watch much television. Yeah, I don't really see a lot of movies. Well, then why are you asking me if the chances of you seeing it? And then, do you make any money doing that? Like, what is that like? But you ever been in anything like big that I would have heard of? When you ask somebody what they do and they're like, I'm a teacher. You don't go, oh, will you ever teach anyone I would have heard of or that did something good? Well, many of my students have become lawyers and doctors. No, but I mean like something big, like something I would have heard of.
Right,
Oh, no?
well,
Oh, well, I hope things turn around for you. Good luck with all that. You're like, what the fuck? I just got up in the morning. What the hell did I do? But it's a constant thing. People, they are threatened by people who do what they love for a living, and they have to believe that you're somehow lying, kidding, or it's a joke, or it's because for them to believe it's their fault and they didn't have to do what they're doing and so miserable at, and they could just take that leap and try and do what they love, they'd find a community as opposed to this wall they're doing right now. Because it never ends, by the way. It never ends. I know people in major movies and they talk to that one uncle who's like, oh yeah, I didn't see you in that. You didn't see me? I had an uncle whose favorite show was House. But he was such a he never could support that. His favorite show was House. I'm like, Uncle, I'm going to be on House. He's going to watch it. I called him after the episode. He's like, I never saw you. You never saw me?
What a dick!
Right.
I watched House when it came out, and it took me a long time to realize, up until a while ago, that the guy who came in for his love of cows was the same guy who played Warren from Buffy. I don't know if it's your mannerisms or something are different. It just feels like two different people. Maybe that's because you're acting, but
Whoa! Stop the clock. Your character had a love for cows.
Yeah.
What happened? Did you get a sexually transmitted disease from a cow? Your character?
No, I wish.
Oh,
It's worse than that. I think the bit was I'm going to Dr. House to I want him to give me this shot that will basically turn off my sex drive because my stepmom is super hot and young and flirting with me and it's fucking me up. So I make up this attraction to cows in the hopes that he'll give me Depo-Depo-Vera, is that what it was? Some kind of drug that does that. That's the bit. And you'll find this is what I do for a living. I play characters where something is off with them, but you just can't tell. It's not the bad guy, but it's not the good guy. It's the one we just can't tell. It seems like there's something wrong with him, and that's because that's the vibe I put out naturally. They're not incorrect. People see me. I remember somebody posted something, maybe it was Mersh or something, like a picture of me, and like, this guy looks like he'd play the second Carter who wants to sleep with his dead bodies. It's like, that's literally the characters I play. You are being accurate. That is what my face looks like. It's punchable, and I have crazy eyes. It all checks out.
You have played plenty of characters where I think people would want to punch in the face. That is a true statement.
Oh, yeah, it's a living, and I get it. They're not wrong. I could hear it now when I'm talking. They're just God, fucking take them down. Just not all the pegs, just one peg, so we can all just relax for a second. I get it. They're not wrong.
Well, I guess that brings up a question I did want to ask you. What is
Acting.
Well, not just acting. yes, that's a Joey C style question.
Birch
Adam,
lifted.
tell me what is acting? No, okay,
It's
so-
reacting.
reacting. Yes. No, I guess it's just more of like the classification of it. Because when I was a kid growing up, you always heard about actors fearing being typecast.
Yeah, they're full of shit. They're
Whoa.
out of their minds. They're stupid celebrities. That is the fucking stupid. Can you imagine if Rick Moranis was like, I don't want to be the nerdy guy anymore. But
Right.
okay, then don't work. Being typecast means you've won. There's a girl I know named, I can't remember her name. She was a roommate for a while, and she moved from Florida. She never worked, but she was trying to be an actor. I hadn't seen her for years. I ran into her at an audition. The week before, I saw her on a commercial on the Super Bowl that was like a Coke can and a Diet Coke can. They're like in outfits running through Times Square, and they're young and they're cute and they're trying to find each other. Or it's just this boy Coke can trying to find. Finally, he sees this girl and she's like nerdy and she has glasses, but she's really cute and she's dressed as a Coke can, and they meet and they make out. And I'm like, that's my friend. That's my friend who had never worked or done anything. And I finally ran into her at this audition. I'm like, congratulations, that's incredible. I saw your commercial. You're so good. I remember looking at the internet to see if it was her. And I searched like, who is the, and it predictably was like the Diet Coke can girl. Like so many people were looking her up. I'm like, congratulations. And she said to me, yeah, I just don't want to be typecast as the Diet Coke girl. And it's like, that. What the fuck is wrong with you? That'd be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. Typecasting's a good thing. It means you've created a niche. It means your niche is marketable and people want to hire you. Go do that. Go do that.
That's like Donkey Lips. That's the only thing that I
want to
feel
play
like
serious roles.
most people know him as Donkey Lips, and he doesn't want to embrace it. I feel like if he embraced it all these years, he could have done something with it. I think it's a cool name. All
The
right,
whole
I
bit.
digress.
He should be. He should be that guy. That's who he
Right,
is.
he should.
What else is he gonna play? Or be the conspiracy theory guy. He could do that. He could be the guy they ask questions, and has crazy ideas, and one of them's true that they can turn into a clue.
Oh yeah, he could totally play conspiracy guy who like lives in a trailer in the woods, and they go,
Yep.
yeah,
How
yeah,
perfect
he would
is
be
that?
perfect. Yeah.
Which,
He'd
by
be
the way,
perfect.
he is typecast. Like, that's the only thing they know him from is playing that role. So if he's not playing that role actively, it means he's difficult to work with or hard to find, or there's other issues at play.
Yeah.
My question about that is there was always this talk of like, when I first heard about that as a kid, is because I always wondered why Luke Skywalker wasn't in more things. And I was always told it's because he was typecast as Luke Skywalker, so they couldn't.
So that shows you how full of shit it is. It means you could be Luke fucking Skywalker, and that
Right.
feels like you're in a box. If you had to be anybody for the rest of your life, wouldn't you want to be the hero? Like, that's shit that Bruce Willis says. Like, he's that kind of guy. He's like, I'm not going to play somebody who doesn't win. I'm not going to play somebody who's not the hero. He wants to be this American kind of action hero, and that's all he's going to do. Okay,
Right.
he can do that.
And
Now
I
he
guess-
thinks he's just a lamp.
well,
But he's got Jewel, didn't he? Didn't he get Jewel?
he doesn't know any better now.
Mm.
No, I guess my question about typecasting is, it was always such a negative stigma, but it seemed like as kind of time went on, they keep higher. At least in my interpretation of it, just as a viewer, because I don't know, these things behind things. It's just when movies would come out, you find there's this common role of actors just playing themselves in the movie. Like you aren't looking for someone to be this character. You're hiring Vince Vaughn because he's Vince Vaughn to play Vince Vaughn in a movie. And I just didn't understand, I guess, how is that just always been the case? Or because to me, that would sound like typecasting. Like we're just looking for this type of person. Or so I just didn't. You explained it pretty much perfectly. Sorry. Of just I never understood the stigma behind it, I guess.
Robert De Niro had a guy for a long time that he hired to sit on set and watch him and tell him when he was doing De Niro isms. Like, tell me when I'm falling back into my crutches and doing the same kind of. I get that. Someone saying, help me not, like a coach for a boxer. Tell me when I'm relying on my tricks. Keep me, at task. But other than that, like Vince Vaughn is a comedy style. It's popular for a while. You ride it out as much as you can, and then you move on to something else.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, I was just because to me, I was always kind of wondering what separates, I guess, that forgive me if I mess up the terminology here, like how you were describing yourself as a character actor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of separates that from, I guess you'd say, main character or lead role? Or, I mean, obviously they can be the same, but someone who, like you were saying, you kind of find your niche. Does that kind of weave around depending on if you're a main or a guest star or reoccurring?
I'll tell you the difference. His Jewy recognizable face.
My moneymaker is what they call it in the office.
Okay.
Over at the home office. No, that's what keeps me pointing north. If you're doing a gig in art or entertainment and somebody says to you, because they will, you were just being yourself, then you've won. Because you turn the camera on any random person and say, be yourself, and they're not going to do it. Like, you're not going to get, everybody immediately tenses up. Like, you're not able to be that relaxed. If you're that relaxed that you just seem like yourself, it means you're doing well and you're comfortable, right? There's celebrities who can only be one thing. There's like hot people that can be hot, and that's their contribution to the scene. Character actors can play a lot of different roles, and you don't necessarily see them or recognize that it's them all the time.
Okay. That's probably way too autistic of me to try to separate all that. I just thought it'd be, I don't know.
I mean, if you hired James Gandolfini to do something in your film, what would you want him to do? You'd probably hope he shows up doing that James Gandolfini thing. If suddenly he's this like straight-laced, waspy guy, you'd be like, hey, James, can you do that thing you do that we like, thing? Can you be that guy? And he gets that. That's what they're hiring him for. It's a good thing.
It's like hiring Paul Giamatti and like telling him, no, you're not going to freak out or yell or anything anytime.
Right. You're not allowed to have big, loud outbursts, but do this role. Then you go see Daniel Day-Lewis, and he does, There Will Be Blood, and it's, again, say it again. It's all down here. And then his next role, he's like, I'm Abraham Lincoln. It's all up there, and it's just as good. He's just a genius.
Okay, that makes sense. That answers that. I'm just kind of throwing some of the rest out of the way here. Have there been? Are you at a point in your career? I guess I was kind of say are you still auditioning for things, or is it more they kind of contact you, they know what you do, and they would feel you would be best in a particular role?
It's both. I prefer a straight offer. That's the best. But
right.
I have to audition constantly, especially now that everything is self-tapes. They just that's the requirement. That's what we do. We make these tapes at home no matter what. And at this point, it really doesn't matter where you're at in your career. You're going to have to submit a tape or do some kind of test. But sure, I love getting straight offers because it means they know what they want. That's the best. If you're auditioning, especially for TV, they often do not know.
And obviously, there's been a big change in TV since you started up till now. Just complete changes of going from huge network to cable to satellite, and then everything going to streaming. Is the process for all that changed any, or is it still kind of run the same way?
Yeah, it's all changed. You used to go to auditions, and now you have to do them all at home. and
Mhm.
the requirements are have become ridiculous. There's so much material and so short a turnaround and so many things they expect you to do. Like, let me ask you, Birch, if there's a scene and you're going to shoot a self-tape of just you and it says there's like a fight or a kiss and it's in the dialogue, what are you going to do? Yeah, they don't know either. Nobody fucking knows. They just throw this shit in there and they're like, figure it out. We don't know.
I would think
Right.
for some of that, you would, if you wanted to try to, go above and beyond, maybe if it really literally is a fight, you could maybe convince a friend of yours to land a few punches on or show you've
But
got.
how are you going to get them on camera if you're just filming you? Now you're going to edit it? Are you going to now we're shooting the movie.
Oh,
And
okay.
by the way, like me booking this doesn't have to do with my ability to block and cast a stunt scene. Like, I don't know what they want, and nobody really does. And it's all just this guessing game. But the work that's now put on the actors is basically shoot as much of the film as you're in for us. Edit it, send it to us, and then we'll decide.
Well, that's because you carry a portable movie studio in your pocket now.
Yeah, it's a camera, but that doesn't mean I have another person. Sometimes I'm, in Canada working on something and I'm in a hotel and I get a self-tape and I'm like, who am I going to convince to come into my hotel room within the next 48 hours to lock the door and get into this lighting setup and read this scene with me? I don't know anybody here. You need another person just to start. And that's a lot to ask because most people just use their family, which aren't necessarily actors, and they say it's an actor's job to react to other actors. So why are we reading these scenes with non-actors? Even in casting agencies, you're reading them with non-actors. So why are we doing this if it's going to be completely different if I book it?
Okay.
Those are my complaints.
I guess that probably wouldn't work out too. I was just thinking, well, you could always go down to the lobby and then tell someone, hey, I've got a camera and a light set up in my room. You want to go film a scene?
As we've already established, I don't have the most trustworthy aura. This is not going to go. That's where the autism is showing up because no one is going to, their instincts are don't follow this guy. And they're correct.
In case you were,
we all understand this was not my idea, right? We all understand I wasn't like, hey guys, I got a great idea. This is what I want to do, right? We all know that. This was, just want to clear that up before people start.
Are you talking about this show?
Yes. I'm like, hey,
no, this is
I'm
all Birch.
really looking for a forum to talk about. This is not.
This is all Birch.
Please.
I don't have anything to add to anything because it's all questions about Hollywood and acting. And I was just a jerk off who PA'd most of my life and then did a lot of post production for.
Oh, you did post production? What kind of post stuff?
Just editing and After Effects work. And I was a post producer looking over like a bunch of different After Effects artists and voiceover people. And
I ran a loop group for a very long time. I still
nice.
do. So
That's awesome.
That's where I would meet you. You'd be the one who hires the loop group. And I get to bring in all my friends and all these comics to do all the background voices and the sports announcing and the TV newscasting, anything in the background in a film or TV show. That's where we shine.
Yeah. I've always been way more interested in post-production of things. I never wanted to be in front of the camera. Like when I was a kid at my library in school, they used to have these old horror movie books. They were these orange books, and there was one on Godzilla. And there was a whole section in the book about how they made the Godzilla movies. From like diagrams of, the actual costumes to actual, how the whole set was set up and how they would make it. And that was so, I used to just take out this book every fucking week and just read the same page and just look at the same pictures and go, that's what I want to do. Because I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I mostly was brought up just watching TV, like how Anthony Cumia says. And you just became so fascinated with how things, like, how did they do this? How did they make this work? And that's what I was always fascinated in. So I always worked behind the scenes until the Dabbleverse, for the most part.
But it's funny that you're still wearing a mask in a way and you're that Godzilla villain.
Yes. I Godzilla was always something that I was always into. I was always into that shit as a kid. But then once I got older, I didn't give a shit. But that definitely got me fascinated in how they made movies and how television and all that worked. but yeah.
Yeah, I love the bad guys. I love the villains, and I
Oh,
love
100%.
that they were real people and that they played other roles, and that
Right.
I was obsessed with that kind of thing. But I just
Yeah.
didn't grow up.
That's
like
why
you
I
did.
always thought people were. I was always way more into like the whole Batman universe than Superman, because I always thought Superman had the worst villains of any fucking like kind of entertainment, like where there's good guys and bad guys. I never got into it. Like his main, enemy was a bald rich guy. Like who gives a shit? And but Batman had all these characters like the Penguin, the Joker, and all the
Arkham
shit.
Asylum, the Killing Joke, like
Yeah,
dark
so-
shit.
So when I hear people refer to me as the puppet, I get so much pride in that because I'm like, I made it. I could be a Batman villain, the puppet.
But from the 50s, you would be an Adam West.
Yes.
The 60s, the puppet.
Zam, kapow. Yes. But no, Adam, I think you're doing great. I was just bowing out every now and then because this mask is, it itches and it's hot.
Yeah,
and,
I can see you holding your face.
Yeah. It just itches a lot. And like I said, Birch is asking great questions. And this is fantastic, Birch. You're doing great. People love it. I still haven't seen a negative comment.
Oh, I'm sure that I haven't looked either. I honestly haven't because I don't think I want to.
Don't worry.
No,
if you
don't.
do, it's just what I engender. It has nothing to do with you, Birch. Honestly,
No.
it's wherever I go. It's my little trick. Don't worry about it.
Never look, Birch. Never
Yeah, don't.
look.
It's not gonna help.
No, I just
It never helps.
fine. I'll just say I was.
However, somebody did call me James Gandolfini.
Yes, that was associate producer Ralph.
Very funny.
He's a dick.
It's funny though.
Fantastic.
He's a dick.
No,
Al Pacino.
I just to let you know, I had this whole like 8-page thing of interview questions for both of you that was supposed to bounce between the two, and it just kind of fell apart because
You
of my
can't
stage
plan
fright.
it. You can't. If you were trying to force this, it would be so uncomfortable. You just
Right.
gotta go with what's happening, what you're doing. It's great.
Would be.
The whole my whole concept, if I'm trying to get big brained here, was the juxtaposition between the actor in front of the camera and the guy who works behind the camera, and we were supposed to bounce between the two.
That's the problem. I don't think of myself as that other guy. I'm like, I love post. I'm a post guy. Like,
Yeah.
that's where the film's made. Like, and I do all these stupid jobs. Like, I don't care. There's no, whatever needs to get it done. Do you know what I mean?
Right. I'm the exact same way. Like right now, I do a lot of the filming and the post production, like in my real life job. And I never wanted to be the guy filming, honestly. I always liked putting the puzzle together, not creating the puzzle, I guess. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I just always liked even just taking other people's ideas and trying to figure out, how they wanted it to look and add my own kind of thing to it. But yeah, I've always just seen myself as a post-production guy. It's weird. It's weird.
Well, especially in TV, the editors, they're making the show.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand how little control the actor has over
Yeah.
anything? It's all up to them. And the director of a TV show is actually not making it. They're just there to run the day, make sure everyone hit their mark and is well lit and you can hear the words. And then they just hand all of that to Rocco, who has to go make the fucking movie, pick
Right.
the takes and decide what it is. That's where the creation is. Everybody else is just at that guy's disposal.
Right, and that was originally going to be my question. It was on page 5. We only are up to about page
Very
3
good.
right now.
Shit.
That's not good.
I'm just throwing this whole thing out.
Yeah, throw it out.
Let's
I
jump
got
around a little bit.
20 minutes.
Okay, let's hit this. So one of my questions, I was going to ask you is I was watching an interview. I can never pronounce people's names. Lex Luthor from Smallville was talking to Spike, and he was mentioning on shows that they were on long term, they didn't sometimes see a main director because all their scenes were just them kind of doing something separately, and they'd just be running with like the B team or just someone who could pick up a camera and film it. And I was going to ask you about that in the sense of, because Spike talked about how he sometimes didn't even feel like he was a part of the show sometimes because he would just be on with a completely separate crew for weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And I guess, have you experienced some of that? Does it feel like you're a part of the show if you're not seeing the rest of the main cast even the filming crew, the writers, like who are you working with when you're doing some of those B or C plots or whatever?
You're often working with a tennis ball that's been taped to the top of a C stand, and that's your eye line, and you're acting with that. And if you've done any kind of work, you can handle that really, really well. And it's actually kind of better than having another actor there because you can just do your thing, and they'll get it faster. Yeah, that's what it is. It's an extremely isolating, lonely gig. I remember when I was in my teens not working for a year and then booking a gig and going to do it and being like, this is it. Like, this is what I was so upset about for a year. Like, this is very isolating and alone. And you never get the feeling of accomplishment because you're not the editor. You don't get to, like, make it. You just do some shit and hope they use what was good. And chances are they didn't. If there's anything you didn't want them to use, or you were like, oh, I don't know about that, they'll say, well, let's just get one. And then you do it, and then that's what they use. That's how it goes. So that's it. It's a very isolating thing. The only time you get to seem like you're somewhat important is when the gig's done and you're talking about it, which is the
Okay.
worst.
I guess to follow that up, with some of your different appearances on all the different shows you've been on, it's in my own background is something when I've gotten to work on an occasional project, it's sort of, it's almost like if you aren't, I don't know if there's like a stigma or, I mean, for you, it's probably different than a casual like me looking at it, but it's sort of like, you know, okay, let's use your episode with House, for example. You actually got to work with Hugh Laurie. You were one of the patients. You got to do the full, like, just you and him in a room and the crew. But if you weren't that, like, if you were just guy, you know, a guy dropping off something in the background or, you know, hey, here's your delivery or something like that, does that even feel like you're on the episode if you don't work with, like, the main cast?
Yeah. Everyone who appears on camera, everyone who has a line or even just a direction where it's like, we have to get this shot today. For that moment, you are the entire focus. Even if it's, I had one on a Patricia Heaton, Kelsey Grammer sitcom where I played the PA of the news show they were on. And I had to do a lot of like, he's here, or message for you. And like James Burrows, who directed all the Cheers and stuff, was directing this. And it was like, he wanted the knock a certain way. He had a rhythm and that he wanted to hear it. And if I didn't do it that way, he would stop. At one point, he wanted to do the knock and then have me go in. This is how important it was to him. So even if it's just one line or one action, for that moment, everything relies on you, which is why you see bigger actors doing smaller parts because they can't risk anything. They're not going to like have someone who's never done it before step in. They want that to be shot fast, move on. You got to be a professional, you know?
Yeah.
Listen, when you want a horn section for your band, when you're like Michael Jackson or whatever, and you want a horn section, you hire a trumpet player, you know. And then you're like, great, I want a bari, I want a trombone, I want a tuba, I want this. And then they hire them. They don't take all of the great saxophone horn players in town and parade them in front of them and ask them to play da-da, da-da, because I just want to see. They can all do it. There's a trust involved. There's like, if you're working for that guy, we don't have to watch you play Happy Birthday to decide whether you're a trumpeter. You've been playing trumpet since you were, I see your resume. It's good enough. Acting should be like that too.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic. There's one scene.
Well
we're just gonna
said.
jump way ahead.
Whatever that was, it sounded beautiful.
It sounded great.
It had a good rhythm.
I want to break out the trombone.
Well, so I did want to jump ahead to this one little scene from a movie you helped direct, co-direct, whatever the proper term is, and this was a scene that I
want to ask you one.
thought
Why don't you
was
ask out Amy?
interesting from it.
Clark?
No,
was
it's because
just-
she's strange because you're strange. Remember that.
You've got the dialogue
She's
going
not
on,
strange.
but it's
No,
the
but I
constant.
just see
This
the two
goes
of you,
on
it's
for
clear
about
you
2
like each
minutes
other and you just keep
of you're
bouncing into one
completely
another like
circling
pinball ball.
these two guys, Clark and the other guy, in here. Like, how do you set up a scene like that? Is it literally just you with the camera just walking around them? Because it's got to be one continuous shot where their dialogue has to go the entire time. So there's no like room for error necessarily. I guess what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, and it's shot. We shot this in Louisiana, and we had less than $1 million, and you have a very wordy script. So when you get a scene like this, you want to make it interesting. It's just two people talking. So to give it movement, you spin around to create tension, and they have to be able to memorize the entire scene and get through it without fucking up. And we need to be able to spin in this tiny location without bumping or without fucking it up. You get it once and you move on. That's it. We're just trying to make something interesting with very little resources or money available, and that's what you come up with. And that's why sometimes once people get a lot of money, it's not better because they're not thinking the same way. They're just spending money.
Okay. Well, I guess when this is going on, obviously there's the cameraman. Everyone has to be sort of back from it to give you area to.
Oh yeah, there was like
maneuver.
no one in here except for only. It was Amber and I. Only we were co-directing, so only one of us could be in this room at a time. So each one was in for one, and the camera guy, and that was it. And it's a metaphor. It's about aliens that work in an office doing the shitty day job. And this one guy is an alien, so it's a coming out of the closet thing. He's trying to explain to his buddy what's happening here. I like casting comics in serious roles. So there's a lot of comedians like Mark Evan Jackson or Paul F. Tompkins in this that I think are funny.
No, it was a fun movie. I didn't. The metaphor went over my head, I think, when I was watching it.
We were reaching.
Well, I thought it was.
It was a different time.
I thought it was the whole idea of drones, and then the opening of it was that sort of like you had the beehive, and everyone in there were drones because you were all in your little cubicles like a honeycomb.
Yes,
and then it turned into multiple warring factions of alien invaders, and then
that's right.
Human evolution.
Right, you got it.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it went over your head at all.
Yeah, you explained it way better than I did.
Well, I guess I was trying to. Okay, this is probably gonna sound bad. I was trying to make sense of it more, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, good luck with that. That's a tough one, but it's a comedy, so you don't have to make that much sense about it. But
no, I probably
all of those little metaphors are in there you picked up on.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we're gonna run out of time, so we'll just jump ahead. I guess.
It's just El Horrible that has to go. We can rock.
Oh yeah, Adam has all day.
All day. Let's just get into it. It's raining. I'm lonely. Come on.
I don't want to. I know how bad this has been. And
it's been fantastic. I'm just being a dick. I told you it's my brand, but you got to. I want you to get through the questions on your page. I don't want you to feel like you missed anything that you planned.
Oh, there was a couple of bits I even was attempting, but I haven't done this before, so it didn't quite work out. I guess I'll just jump in the next one. There was an article I read years and years ago. I always have a preface for everything. I think and write like an essay. There's an article I read years and years ago about this actress Elijah Cuthbert, or if that's even how to pronounce her name, and how many roles she tried out for and didn't get. So it was interesting of all these major things she couldn't get, and then she always kind of had sort of not to say animosity towards a few of them, because it was like every time she'd go to try out, it's like, oh, that movie's going to Kristen Dunst. Sure. Oh, now it's going to Hayden Pantry, or a cheerleader from Heroes.
Yeah, Hayden Pantry.
Yeah. However you say her name.
No, you got it.
It's so it's just sort of like, are there roles that you tried out for that a comparative person of the same age and everything just kept maybe getting over you, or ones that you kind of tried for but didn't get? Like, could have you, for instance, go ahead. Sorry.
No. We're gonna pick some roles. Was that what you were about to do?
I am trying to present something, but I am messing it up.
What's going on? What are you looking to present? Can I help you?
No, I'm just fidgeting.
Okay.
I'm trying not to have everything grind to a halt while my computer is just spinning instead of presenting what I'm trying to do.
Birch, it's been that way my whole life. There's always someone. I mean, that's how it is. Even for the people you think are on top, I learned the closer you get, they have someone, and they always have someone. The problem with that is the someones that book my roles are very talented. Like, I would cast them. They're really funny and really great. Like, I get it, and there's nothing you can do about that. Like, it's just how it is, except not get bitter and not get angry, and realize you always book the ones you don't expect to, and never the ones you're supposed to.
Well, it's like with you were coming up. You're the same. A couple of actors that I picked here. You're kind of the same age of in that same area. Like for instance, with the help of AI. Oh come on, present it. Why am I-
Connor, thank you for the super tipped question.
Like for
but
instance,
I put it up. I'm not reading it.
That's
instead of
phenomenal.
Jason Biggs, could we have gotten Adam in
Yeah,
America?
Me and Eddie K. Thomas from American Pie were in the first acting class we ever took, that first Strasbourg class that when I was like 12, 11, he was in. And we are still buddies. And he plays the role that I auditioned for in this. And then he directed a music video for that song, Indie Rockin' You Like. Eddie did one day. We've all been friends. And I've always complained that kid books my roles. And he always complains that David Krumholtz books his roles, and we're all from the same spot in New York, and it goes, and he's always complaining that Kevin Corrigan's booking his roles, and Kevin Corrigan complains about not getting you see how this goes. It never stops.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Wait, you auditioned for the role that the kid from Rookie of the Year was in? On
Was he in Rookie of the Year?
American Pie?
Not Biggs, the other one.
No. Rookie of the Year was it was
the one who
kid...
sleeps with Stifler's mom.
Okay,
Sean...
no.
Was
Rookie of the Year was the kid who liked Tara Reid.
Okay, yeah,
like kind of the straight kid, kind of, I guess.
Well, and here's another one that was thanks to Annie. She did a way better job on photoshopping, but like, where'd it go?
Yeah, I don't know actors' names. I know Shitbreak though. Yeah, okay, that's who it was.
There you go. I attempted this one. Adam as Lenny Bruce in Mrs. Maisel.
See, that's one of those roles I was always supposed to play my whole life. I know all of his monologues. I got them all memorized. I'm ready to go. I know every bit about his life. I always wanted to play Lenny Bruce in anything. It'll never happen. I'm too old.
Well, here was your opportunity.
This was one of my opportunities. My friend played Honey Maisel, Caitlin Maynor, in this episode. She plays Honey Bruce. So it's always so close. And that was one of the roles, Lenny Bruce. Always. When you see that, cast me. It won't happen. It just won't. I was in LA at that time, and this was a New York hire, and that's what they wanted. It's shit you can't control.
I get that. You always read about that, or I'm not asking for like rivalries or anything like that. It's just sort of like they're looking for a particular type of person, and they just sort of go with whatever. And so I just, didn't know if there's lots of roles that you tried out for and maybe didn't get.
All of them, all of the roles. I mean, there's a while you can imagine any role that you look at and you're like, I bet that guy could have done that. I probably auditioned for it because that's how wide a net they're casting, especially now. And the best part is that no matter how unhappy I am, that person, Eddie, will always be unhappier. And when he's talking about his guy, he's always amazed at how miserable that guy is. Like the misery grows the higher up you get. It's not like now everything's cool. Now you have something to lose and it actually matters. Or there's something to take away from you that you had, so it's even worse.
Okay, fantastic. I guess
Fantastic.
I don't know why that became my crutch word today. I don't normally say that, but maybe it's El Haribe's fault or Tuki's.
Yes, this is all my fault. Adam, I apologize. Birch, I apologize. This is all my fault.
Nothing to apologize for.
No, that's just I had this whole game idea of in other
What was
world.
the game? It's gay.
It was gay. No, it was going to be some roles Adam could have done but didn't, and those were two.
That's a very, very long list. I don't know if we have that kind of time, but
No.
What's my favorite Lynch film is Mulholland.
It's Dune, right?
No, my favorite Lynch film. They were asking.
Yeah, David Lynch did Dune.
Roots.
Oh, right. Roots. That's my favorite one. I'm just a LeVar Burton fan. I like everything he does.
No, the last thing I wanted to get to you, I'm just jumping around here, is that you've spent plenty of time on the convention circuit and doing fan interactions.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some interesting times at the convention circuits. I know when the type of role that you do, like especially if you go to these different ones where a lot of people are showing up, either probably seeing you as like if you're going to, like you mentioned ChillerCon before or things like that, or some of the different Comic-Con kind of things.
Definitely.
Do you still have people who are adamantly disliking you for being Warren from 20 years ago?
Every day. That's
'Cause-
before they get to know me, so they don't have personal reasons yet to not like me. But the character I played on that show was so hated and such a villain. Spoiler, I don't think anybody here was gonna jump off this stream and pop in Buffy the Vampire Slayer DVD season 1 for the first time. So
Right.
I'll just let you know now that the person I play was like it was like in Game of Thrones where they kill another spoiler where they kill the lead in the first season. No one sees that coming. There was like the first lesbian relationship, one of the first ones ever on television, one of the first lesbian kisses ever on television, and it's this like fantasy show about vampires and stuff, and I was just a pissed off nerd who went and shot and killed one of those lovers who was a main character in the middle of the season, and she was a beloved character, and people didn't expect that, and they certainly didn't expect it to be like a gun when it's all like demons and stuff. So
Right.
people hate this character. You know, it was I destroyed the love of their life, and it was so sudden that when every day someone will look at me, think they remember me from somewhere, and I can tell what they know me from how their face settles. Because if it's happy, I know it's not Buffy, but usually it's like, oh, and then they start to get mad and they start to ask questions. And every episode of WATP, somebody has to write R.I.P. Tara. And I don't think Carl even knows what it means, but somebody feels like they have to remember or remind me that I killed this beloved person.
Were chicks really kissing each other on Buffy?
Fuck yeah.
Man, I should have been watching Buffy. I
Bill
know all the
O'Reilly
chicks
did
were
an
watching
entire
it.
episode on why Buffy was ruining TV.
Really?
Yep. And
I
it
had
was-
no idea.
showed clips of all of us and why it was too sexual and too promiscuous and why we were the devil. And he was half right.
Yeah,
But
I
luckily,
remember.
he turned out to be a good guy.
I just remember all the chicks in my classes being into it, and I was like, I don't know. The movie was all right, but yeah, I never really watched the TV show. But yes, we gotta get. Can we get this on DVD? Where do we get it?
Yeah, you can, but again,
That's
I don't know.
fantastic.
I don't think the special effects hold up.
No, that's okay, but they're still kissing, right?
There's definitely sex
Oh,
still,
fantastic.
and lots of sex against people's will too. So that's fun.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Oh, is that Ralph?
Birch, you're sir now.
Oh, go ahead, Ralph.
Yes, it's the question that we've all been waiting for you to ask, but you haven't asked.
Go ahead.
Adam Bush, why are you so great in everything you do? I'll hang up and listen.
This was your idea. Can I go back to hosting your show?
He's talking to you, Birch.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I thought this was a Cardiff show to begin with.
No. This was my total idea. I don't
It
know.
does. It feels like a setup.
I know remember the 90s. I've seen this show before. This is not that.
Oh,
I thought we were going to be talking about the Micro Machine guy and like slap bracelets.
Oh, did you pitch this as Yo Remember the 90s, the show? I thought this
Did
was a
you
Birch
not
the Great original.
did you
No,
not read the
I
Google
don't-
document I sent you? There are
No, I
annotated
didn't.
pages
said
with
Google
links and
documents?
notes that I sent you. It's like 8 pages long.
Oh, are you serious?
I even wrote
No,
an
talk to
abstract.
Clearwater Chad. He has the same complaint. I'm sorry. I didn't. I didn't know this was supposed to be. Adam, I'm sorry. I thought this was just Birch the Great. Like, you wanted to do your own show.
He is.
No,
and it's going great.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
But now I feel responsible.
Partly.
no, this has been terrible. I understand.
It has not been terrible. Please. This could have actually gone wrong. I've been on some that go wrong. This is not one of them. Trust me. This is I told you if you're asking questions that you want to hear the answer to, you've already done a better show than Joey C.
Well, part of the reason I even was inspired to even give an interview with you or wanting to do one is because of how much of an not good that Joey C interview was, and also no shade at Chrissy. I just didn't think that hers was very good with you either. You looked like you may have had fun, but
No, I always point out that I was surprised at how many of those Dabbleverse people felt obligated to do something like this when they had no interest at all in it, nor knowledge or awareness of it. So it was like, who are we doing this for? You genuinely want to know answers to these questions. And I was excited because I knew I would be able to answer them for you. So as long as we're doing that, fuck, you've won, Birch.
Oh,
You've
well,
earned that name for real.
Was I supposed to be a co-host or a guest?
You were a security blanket in case I completely shit the bed and
Okay.
And he's
fell
nailed
off.
that, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I did that.
All right. There
He's
you
absolutely been a blanket.
that
All
was
right,
also in the
fantastic.
thing I
Big,
sent you.
heavy sheep, wet blanket, sheep fur.
Holocaust
fur.
cloak.
Yes.
No, I guess what I was trying to say about the fan interaction, at conventions, do you still have people? Because even if you look up in Google stuff about like Adam, some things that come up is like I have an article that I found just recently as far was current as 2022 of why Warren Mears is an example of everything wrong with men, and it's just pictures of Adam and then clips of you just living that from 20 years ago. Like people just, you are constantly it's like almost the difference of like in pro wrestling, there's the bad guys, the heels, but people still like them. You're just detested on the internet as a character. It's almost like they can't separate the two. That's just a part you're playing.
Yes, that's exactly right. They can't. And it's hard for them sometimes.
And that's really awkward to say to someone to their face. So sorry about
that. I've been more equipped to deal with it because when I was a kid at Nickelodeon, you'd get letters from kids and it was like, oh, you're blurring. Like they're smart enough to know you're an actor on a TV show, but they still think you're your character's name and living that life because they're children, right?
Right.
So it was just the same thing, except, oh, you're adults. But you have blurred this line between reality and fantasy, and you're holding me responsible for something that I didn't do. But what you find doing conventions and in any kind of fandom, and it's true for me and the things I'm a fan of, like there's going to be someone who asks you for your autograph and then asks you some questions and then wants this to continue. And you can spend the entire day with this person. You can take them to your hometown, introduce them to your parents, take them to the set, show them all of their favorite characters, give them some wardrobe. And at some point in the day when you're like, okay, well, this was really fun. It was great talking to you. They're going to go, oh, I see. So that's how it is. Okay. And there's nothing you can do because what they want is something you can't give them. They want that feeling they had back when they used to watch this show with their mother or their sister or their grandma, and they want to be close to that relative that isn't with them anymore, that they're no longer close to, or just that feeling. And they associate you with that feeling. It's not their fault. It's like it's an internal thing. They see that face, they hear that voice, they go, oh, this is that. Can you help me connect to my dead father? I cannot. I can't help you do that. I can't bring that feeling back when you used to get a Mad magazine. I just drew the cartoons. I didn't, and that's what that's about. That's what that fandom thing is. They're trying to get closer to that. And you have to realize there's only so much you can do. You have to be able to just end it and know that that's okay.
Okay. I just had I've been to a couple conventions and I've talked to different celebrities or artists or different things. I'm kind of a comic book fan. And so I've talked to different artists. And I think one of the worst experiences I had with one of those was talking to James O'Barr. I don't know if you know who that is. He did The Crow. And I was telling him, it's like, oh, that was the biggest thing for me when I was in middle school and how a huge fan I was. And it even got me back into watching pro wrestling. And the moment I mentioned Sting, it's like the energy drained out of him. And he just goes, oh, and just sort of turns back to his table. I had no idea that he has had this 30-year litigation battle against him and TNT and Steve Borden, and just oh, I just said the wrong thing to this guy, and now he's just doesn't even want to sign my comic. Fantastic.
That's always going to be there. It's not your fault. Everyone, all these people you're talking about, they're going to be one of two ways about it. You're going to mention it, and they're going to want to talk about it all night long until you're bored and have to go, or they don't want to hear it. And there's no way for you to know. There really isn't. And it happens on every level. I know famous musicians who've opened for other really famous musicians, and that one day at lunch, they ask them that one question. So what was it like being in? And they just shut down. And you never know. You know what I mean? Like Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son, doesn't want to talk about his dad. If you ever run into him, don't ask him. He doesn't. You ever run into Danny Harrison, George Harrison's kid? Ask him about his dad. It's all he fucking wants to talk about. Like, he wants to watch old movies. He wants to. This is what they're like. How are you supposed to know? You can't. You can't predict it. You didn't do anything wrong in that situation. It's on them.
I had the same thing. I met David Silverman, which is one of the original animators for The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And he was in this like New Orleans style band / show with the guy who played the dad from 1 Hour Photo. There was another guy. All these people were from LA. This one guy claimed that he was like the whole entire soundtrack for Terminator 1, all this shit. And I knew some of the guys were in some things and they were kind of famous, but I just answered a Craigslist ad to drive a Sprinter from New York to Boston, and they were doing all these shows. And I was really getting along with the guy David, because we would talk about post-production, because he was doing a lot of that stuff, and I knew that, but I didn't know he was one of the original animators from The Simpsons until one of the other guys told me. He was like, "Oh, you know who that is, right?" And I'm like, "No, I have no idea." He's like, "Yeah, he started The Simpsons, He he's won Emmys, he's won all this shit." And I just told him, I was like, "Oh shit, David, I had no idea." And our relationship totally changed for the rest of the week right after that. But I didn't like bother him or anything. I just told him, I was like, "Listen, man, my dad and I were obsessed with The Simpsons. My dad used to schedule dinners whether The Simpsons or Married with Children was going to come on TV and all this stuff." And he looked like disappointed. He was like, "Oh," he's like, "Really? Like your dad only let you eat dinner when The Simpsons or Married with Children would come?" I was like, "No, that's not." I don't know. It totally ruined everything. But Birch, I gotta go. My house is currently turning into a daycare. If you want to keep going, it's totally up to you. All you have to do is hit end stream.
Yep.
Adam, thank you so much
quick.
for doing this. Birch really is a great guy, and I know he wants to try and get into this stuff. And Birch, you did great. And never look at the chat.
I am avoiding it. There are
All right.
almost 1,000 unread comments.
That's fantastic. See, that's
You're learning.
1,000 positive unread comments that will continue to go unread. Love you both more than a friend. Thank you again, Adam, for doing this. And Bert, you did great.
Thank you.
Love you both more than a friend.
Truly, thank you.
Bye. You're very welcome. You're very
Okay. And Adam, I won't hold you too much.
No.
longer.
Come on. Finish your. You don't have to. We don't need. He's just an anchor. You got it. You can fly solo. You're doing it. We're gonna do a little bit, just us. We'll see how it goes.
Sure. Some of the questions I kind of skipped out is.
Well, let me, if you don't mind. I
Go
was
ahead.
obsessed with Sergio Aragonés, who does the Mad Magazine Gru and those little drawings in the margins. And I was at a Comic-Con appearing in San Diego, and I saw, somebody that have a guest artist do the Comic-Con program cover every year.
Mhm.
And they had Sergio Aragonés do it. My favorite guy. I was like, "Oh shit, look at that!" And he does very detailed, elaborate, fine drawings. And he did the interior of a comic book store. And there's so many posters and comics, very small, in this. And I saw he had a poster of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and in that poster was a drawing of these 3 characters, and I was one of them. I was like, "Oh my god, that's so fucking cool! I gotta find him and get him to sign it." And I did. And I waited in line, I got the thing, and I had him sign it. And then I forgot to mention, I'm like, "Oh," and I go back, I'm like, "Sergio, I wanted you to know, and as I'm doing this, I'm like, what am I doing?" And he doesn't know what I'm saying. He barely speaks English. And I'm trying to have this moment now with this guy, because my fucking dad used to buy me a Mad magazine when I was a kid. Every Saturday, we'd have this ritual. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get Sergio Aragonés to make me feel closer to my dad from 20 years ago. Like, he can't help me with that. And this connection that I feel, and this need to tell him and have him personally involved in this random fucking detail about my past he doesn't care about. That's that impulse. So it made me be more sympathetic to people with it, and also check myself when I feel it.
Okay. Well, there's always the weird, because I've always had looking back on it, here I am just trying, you've only sometimes got 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes because, everyone's in line. You got very short time to interact. So it's almost just sort of like you just want to say, hey, I appreciate your work. Or if you're me, you're just sort of like, holy crap, this is a guy that I've wanted to say something to since I was like 12. And you just sort of like word vomit things out. And they just kind of look at you like, what the hell did this kid just say to me?
Well, yeah, that's Rocco telling that guy, "Oh, we used to base our schedule around," and you don't know what to say. You're like, "I hope you and your dad can connect again soon. I hope things turn around for you, because I can't help you with that. And if I feel like I can, then what am I gonna do when I get letters that say like I'm thinking of killing myself? What should I do? What am I gonna do? Like if I can save you there, I can save. It's not good,
Oh, that's a lot of responsibility to put on.
Yeah,
and that's where I always thought. I understand when people say like someone's show or music like help them through something, but I guess I never really considered the reverse of that. Of like if you have like you have a huge fan or something, and they're going through a rough time, and they're whatever your product was that gave them some joy to help them through it. I guess the inverse could exist too.
Well, yeah, because what if they do something bad? Was it your fault? If you're going to read the good reviews and go, these people like this, I feel good about it, then you're going to have to read the bad ones that say they don't like it. Both are real, and you have to either take it in or have your own sense of what you like and just stick with that. Because if I'm going to walk around saying, yeah, I saved these people, you also realize after a while that, like, you didn't do anything. Like, the person that thinks Paula Abdul saved their life because they heard her song when they were in the back of a, emergency vehicle being rushed to the hospital, so they have this connection, has nothing to do with her. It's just being in the popular, zeitgeist and people taking it in during their life and attributing these things to them that have nothing to do with them. Paula Abdul didn't help that person. Her song was just on the radio, and they found comfort in it.
Well, I guess that kind of brings up a little bit into like the weird parasocial relationship that a lot of creators and fans like have now, just because there used to be so many barriers for interaction. And then now it's sort of like, especially if you're someone who's on a lot of social media or, encourage it or go to conventions, you just are going to run into that. The layers of separation are gone. It's almost like you're putting yourself out there to interact with some of that.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just with, hell, what do you think this episode is?
Hell, why do you think I've been doing this shit a long time. I've never once felt the need to post a comment on a message board until the Dabbleverse.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anybody else who had the same interest. So I wanted to communicate with people that shared it. And if there was a convention, I would want to go to it and meet those people so I can talk to someone about this shared stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And when you go to a convention with that in mind, it's great. I mean, Hackamania was the best. It's also that thing about what we were talking about. Rocco feels that urge to just like get the show done, to put it on, whatever your role is. Patrick Melton's the same way. Rocco spent his time finding me a video behind Chad Zumach's paywall and pulling it for me and recording it and sending it so I could, then do a bit on it. Patrick Melton spending the entire time at the soundboard, mixing everybody's shows, and there's no part of him. It would be these people or anyone that's looking to take him down. They'd be like, oh, he's working his own soundboard. He can't afford a sound guy. No, he wants it ddone well. And he cares about it, and that's why it went over well, because he did it. We're all doing whatever we can for the show. That shit I like.
No, I think that's fantastic. Again, but no, that's another reason why I've actually watched quite a few interviews of you that you've done over the years, and I think it's great that you take time to talk with people, or you just. That sort of goodwill, I just think
it gets you nothing. I mean, it gets you exactly what it gets you hate. It all gets you hate. So there's nothing you can do. I know you would hope and think, but it's always going to be there. When you put yourself out there, there's always going to be people that go, fuck you. And you can be like, well, we don't care. Fuck you. And you have to accept that. It's okay. It's just the way it is. Sometimes it has everything to do with you. Sometimes it has nothing to do with it. But if you're putting out something that you like, that's all that matters.
Well, I was also just thinking, like, you've got Adam, you're at a convention, and I don't know how, lines are or anything, but a guy who would just or a girl would stand there for, let's say, an hour waiting in line just to get to you, just to tell you to F off. Because you shot their favorite character in a show. Just that sort of dedication you almost have to admire, but you also have to, you're doing this for fun, right? You're not actually angry with me, the person. Is there a weird transference there?
You hear about these people that get obsessed with ChatGPT or they form a relationship with that.
Yeah, it's their uncle.
Yeah, someone's gonna take it out on Sam Altman. Someone is gonna want to get to the bottom. Once they think it's real, they're gonna keep holding on to it being real, no matter who they have to put it on to keep going, because it has nothing to do with them. They're just an actor doing a gig.
Right. So I didn't know if there was just an extra. Okay, to go all big brain on it, when you were Warren, you were almost like a prototype for what a lot of people would look at the negative attributes to, if I want to use the phrases like toxic masculinity, incellus behavior.
That's what it was.
All the negative.
That's the only reason it's still relevant is because of those topics that are still, and the school shooting aspect to all of that. And that's still very, very relevant. So that's the only reason people still talk about that show, and that Warren keeps coming up in college courses and things, is because of that exact dynamic that there's more of, not less of.
It was surprising to me. I know I've mentioned this, I'm not trying to be too circular on this, but I was just surprising of how many people just still had that weird, visceral dislike. It's you don't see that same dislike for the Frankenstein Adam creature from season 4, or even people even remembering Glory as the main bad from season 5. They more
because those were demons and Freddy Krueger's and just monsters. I played a nerdy, pissed off kid who needed to get laid with a gun. So that's why it was very hard for people. It was a fantastical show of vampires and things, and I just shot her in the head with a gun. So
I guess it was a very real aspect of it too, I guess.
And then all these other characters started to find salvation or better themselves, or just see how far this had gone. And my guy didn't. He just went further and further into being evil.
Well, that was also, and okay, not to get into too much Buffy talk. I don't know if that's something, I'm sure you've had plenty of it over the years, so apologies. Season 6 used to kind of be my least favorite season when I was younger, but I did appreciate it more as I got older. There's still some, I don't even call it filler in there, but I did like how, especially with you guys in the trio, it built you guys up. You're sort of comical antagonists at the start of it. And it's, you are, I guess, beneath. This is sort of comparing power levels or whatever you want to talk. In season 5, she was fighting an evil goddess Glory, and then in season 6, you're fighting 3 nerds essentially. Exactly. And well, you're very much more human enemies, but it's also, you sort of go from sort of comical nuisances to actually dangerous.
Yep.
And I guess that's just, I didn't pick that up when I was younger.
And there was a part of us that was the fans, that the writers were writing the fans, because we were sci-fi nerds. Yeah. We were obsessed with the Dungeons and Dragons and all that kind of stuff. So there's also a bit of, are you making fun of us that the fans had towards us?
Well, it's just for a little bit on the Warren character, it seemed like he had multiple opportunities to just stop at any point, and just, not only that he didn't see the reason to stop. He felt he was right the entire time.
Yes.
Even when you're strapped up in vines and beautiful.
Who's that guy?
I'm not sure. This guy named Adam.
The band Manischewitz.
No, I don't know what that is, but he has the opportunity to because you see it with Jonathan and you see it especially with Andrew in season 7, like they were into it, I guess, when it was a little more comical, or they were trying to gain confidence, it felt like. And they were looking to this guy to, like, he was their leader, sort of like a mini cult. And it just sort of, I guess it took a turn when you, and I'm saying you, but you, the character, like to beat the crap and kill your ex-girlfriend on the stairs when she's trying to escape. And then just from there, it's just sort of like, that was like the turn where you guys went from nuisances necessarily to actually potentially evil, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And everyone else is Buffy, for example, and tons of media always has like these redemption arcs for half the villains in a given show. But of all characters, just Warren has none of that. Like, it's sort of like he just doesn't see it, doesn't care. It's invisible to him, the idea of it. And I guess that is that just something when you watch it, it's just, that's what I see, is what I'm trying to say.
You answered your own question, and you did it in a very smart way. And it's a good place to end it, because it's a question I get most commonly asked, and the answer I have is what you said. He doesn't know he's the bad guy. He thinks he's right every step of the way. And people always ask, but when your character got to this point, didn't they start to... No, I'm never the bad guy. You're not playing a bad guy. He thinks he's right. He believes he's right. So you're just playing that. That's what you believe. You know, the bad guy doesn't know he's the bad guy. And he thinks he's the good guy.
Right.
So you don't think about that. You know, you don't try and play evil. I don't know what that is. You're just exactly what you said. He's doing what he wants. Even as other people are starting to have doubts and question themselves, that's what he's doing.
Okay, fantastic. I guess the only thing I would say to that is like, you weren't a mustache twirling villain like the Master, I guess, or some of the other ones in the earlier seasons. They were just evil, like the mayor. He was comical, he was friendly, but he was trying to turn into a giant snake demon god thing, or whatever that was at the end of the 3rd season. But you were just more of a human character, I guess. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, do you see how you have a natural smile and just kind of like a friendly disposition? I don't have that, so I don't have to do much to play an evil person. I can just be, and people will find things to hate, and rightly so. They'll just see it. I don't have to do much. That's my gift.
Guess it goes back to the whole, you've got a face people want to punch for some reason.
Which is why it's okay to get typecast. You can make a living off of that. Don't run from it. Once you get that money, you can do whatever you want with it.
That's fantastic. Yes, and I will, I guess, put a bow on that at the end. I want to thank you, Adam. I don't think I accomplished anything of what I wanted to do today, but maybe I was a bit ambitious. And
No, but you accomplished something else that was probably better than what you had intended. That's how you can't know, and that's how this goes. You're going to force Rocco and me to, it's going to happen how it's going to happen, and you rolled with everything.
Okay, well,
I had fun.
I appreciate that. I really do. I just feel in most things I've kind of done in life of just doesn't hurt to ask, and people can say no, then just wouldn't have done anything. But if you say yes, then it's sort of like, well, crap, everyone said yes, so now I've got to kind of go for it.
Let me put it this way. I have a show coming out next year called PBC Season 3. I play the bad guy, but it has a lot of like improvised masters on it. People that from Saturday Night Live, people that can improvise, like they're at the top of their game. And there's a lot of improv on this show. And I have found there were days where I came in, like there's nothing I planned ahead of time to improvise that was ever funnier than something that just happened organically. No matter how, I'd write a full monologue, memorize it, and just like bust it out. And it would go well. People are like, wow, that was cool. But if it was just something that happened on the fly, that's what's funny. And those masters who know how to improvise, like John Lovitz and those guys, they know that. So they don't have to prepare. They know any preparation they do is just going to fuck it up. Because they don't know what the other actor's going to say. They don't know what the set's going to feel like. They just have to be able to be relaxed, hear, listen, respond, hit their mark right, and not force anything. Don't push. just let it happen. And you did that successfully. So I think it's another win for Birch the Great. That's what I say.
Well, he only does live about 2 hours from me. I'm pathetic. Okay, anyways, I have no comedic timing. That's why I could never do music either. I just have no rhythm on that stuff. But no, I so much appreciate this, Adam.
Thank you, Birch.
You're fantastic. My
I
buddy
make
Trevor,
the league minimum. Like they say in Major League, I make the league minimum.
my buddy Trevor and I, we really loved Buffy when we were younger. I actually didn't watch it too much when it was on TV. I caught it when I was on deployment. When I was in the Army, we had all the DVDs and stuff of it, so I kind of like binged all the seasons of it. So, or at least the first 6. But anyways, thank you very much for that. You have a great night and day, whatever. I'm ending this. This has been an abortion. I love you all.
It has not. That's Carl's beat. Stay off that. You're the great. You're the great.
Yes, and for everyone who stuck through this, you must have had nothing better to do. Love you all. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.